Center is This Week in Tulsa, and this is Deborah Bradshaw. Oh, there's Will. Been waiting for you, Will.
Good morning. We have had this site up for quite a while. You may or may not have seen it. We are surprised by the people who follow our brand and who are moving forward, but you may not know a whole lot about it, or you may just have run across it. So what do you guys think of when you think of This Week in Tulsa? Somebody tell me. Yeah, you're right. A schedule of events that are happening in Tulsa. What else? Anything else? Okay, it is a very interactive site of not just what's happening in Tulsa, but so much more, and I'm going to show you in just a moment. We started this website. We started this because I have a son with Down syndrome who is 25 years old, and he and I are roommates, and we would like to go out and play on the weekends, but we were having so much trouble figuring out what was going on. I love all the fantastic magazines that we have here in the Tulsa area. We have everything from the Tulsa Voice, we have Currentland, we have so many places. The problem is that if I wanted to find an event, I would have to go through multiple magazines to figure out what was going on that evening, and it just wasn't practical. So I have another son who's also an entrepreneur. This is his third business venture, and so he and I started talking and said, what if we created something that was not replacing anybody else, but was doing something that the community did not have to offer? I grew up in Southeast Asia. I've lived around the world. I lived in Seattle for a while, and I had never lived anywhere that I really wanted to call home until I moved to Tulsa about 20 years ago. I love Tulsa. Tulsa is a fantastic city. I've lived in Singapore. I've lived in Kuala Lumpur. I've lived in Kansas City. I've lived in some fantastic cities. But I think that here in Tulsa, we have something that is so unique and so wonderful that we wanted to share with the world what a fantastic city we live in. And by the way, we do have followers from New York City. We have followers from London. We have followers from all around the world that are paying attention to Tulsa because of this site. So let's go through and tell you a little bit about This Week in Tulsa. Okay, so this week in Tulsa lets the world know what a fantastic city Tulsa is to live, work, and play. Yes, I know you guys can read, but I wanted to read it to you also because it is a fantastic city. There is so much going on. 36 degrees north is an excellent example of just the kind of growth that we are experiencing. I lived in Seattle before the boom. I lived there before all the prices went up. I lived there when it was just beginning to take off. And I see a lot of the same types of things in Tulsa that I saw in Seattle at that time that made Seattle such a great city. Okay. So what was the problem? The problem was that I was searching multiple sites. I was going so many places. I was scrolling on, or looking on the internet. I was scrolling through websites. I was going everywhere you could possibly think of just to find one thing to do. It was taking me a couple of hours to figure out what I wanted to do on Friday evening, and that was more time than most people have. We wanted to help nonprofits, organizations, and other people just be able to spread the word about what they're doing, because so many wonderful things happen in Tulsa, but how do you get the word out? As I told you, I have a son with Down syndrome, and I have worked in nonprofits since before he was born. I have been the president of organizations, I have run events, and the biggest thing that we had, the biggest issue that we had, was that we could not get the word out when we were doing a conference, when we had a charitable function, all of those different things. And we also know that for small events that are starting, whether you are the vodka bar over here that does fantastic events, or whether you're something like the BOK Center, how do you let everybody know? So we started This Week in Tulsa, okay? We wanted one central location available on multiple platforms. We are currently, Instagram is my favorite platform. I am the person who inputs all this stuff into Instagram. We have Twitter, we have Facebook. We're probably going to be working on Pinterest, and we're doing Snapchat. So we have multiple platforms, plus we have the website. Okay. Oh, Facebook as well. I didn't mean to leave out Facebook. So in July of 2015, we actually launched the website. And we were surprised how quickly we got engagement. We developed actually an algorithm and a method for being able to organically grow our Instagram, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. We went from having no followers, we did not purchase any followers, to we have 19,000 something today, just in those few months. In February of 2016, we decided to that's the wrong date. My son must have switched that. He tweaked the presentation. He's in Hong Kong, by the way. So I'm going, no, that's not the right date. But we, in February, started forming local partnerships with photographers and other people within the community. Actually, in November, we started working with local advertisers. We started working with Quick Trip, Berkshire Spa. We've worked with Bar 5. We've worked with multiple people. We actually did a contest for Christmas called 25 Days of Christmas, and we gave away so much cool stuff. We anticipated that when we began, that we would have a few people that wanted to work with us, and that we would have to really reach out and seek people. We worked with the McNelly group. We worked with the Blake Ewing's group. We worked with so many groups. We were so overwhelmed by the number of people that came to us and said, we love the brand, we love what you're doing, we want to be a part of this, that we actually had to turn people away. So it was a wonderful thing. So what's happening today? Why am I here? Well, until today, we have not revealed who's behind This Week in Tulsa. The reason that I'm here today is we are giving you guys an exclusive preview of our brand new site. Our brand new site will be much more effective for the community, for nonprofits, for events planning, and I'm going to show you a demonstration in just a minute. I am so excited about this. I was hoping that we were going to have it live today, but we do promise it will be live by the 1st of next week because there's a coding issue and we want to make sure that nobody has a problem when they get on, but it's going to be fantastic. Okay, next slide. So that's what we are revealing to the world who is behind This Week in Tulsa. We have a team of young, exciting entrepreneurs. I've been talking to an intern who is moving to Tulsa and who is so excited about working with us. C is one of the people on our team. She works with Instagram local marketing and will also be doing some other things with This Week in Tulsa. And we have several other young people. I'm the oldest person on the team, but I have the marketing expertise. A company that I worked with in Seattle was one of the first in the Seattle area to begin the back of the video receipts to put ads on there. At that time, there were grocery store coupon ads on the back of receipts, but we began a company that started the video ads on the back of receipts. So I have a little bit of marketing background. Okay. So This Week in Tulsa, let's find out what it's about. The really cool thing about This Week in Tulsa, this is our new site, is you will be able to actually, see, can I ask you a huge favor? Because I'm not going to be able to hold the microphone and talk. Would you mind holding the microphone for me just a minute? Thank you. So you want to find out what's going on in Tulsa. You really don't know what you want to do for the weekend. And we have just started putting in, okay, so something to do with entrepreneurship, show me the fun. And you get 1 million cups. So you want to go back and let's say we need free stuff. There we go. And you have all the wonderful free events that are taking place in Tulsa in the next few days. This is just about a week's worth. So as you can see, it's going to have a lot of content. We already do a lot of content. Thank you. We already do a lot of different things with this, but it will be, we're hoping to enlist your support with this as well, which is the next piece I'm getting ready to show you. Before, when you wanted to submit an event, we have had a form that you could go to on our website, or a form that you could go to in our Instagram, and you would send us our details. You would fill out that form, and then we would go and input that information into our website. This new website is so much cooler because not only can you find specifically what you're looking for, like free events, like entrepreneurial events, like those types of things, but you can actually go in and, let's see, of course, now that, okay, so you can go in and you can upload an event. And it's spinning. There we go. Upload an event. So I have already gone in and registered. I registered as 1 million cups, not because, and leaving the one available for 1 million cups just because I wanted to show you what we could do if we were 1 million cups. So you will go in and you will hit upload an event, and then you will have 100 events at first. That's how many each company gets, or each organization. That's a lot of events that you'll be able to upload. After that, we'll have to allot you more. But that gives you the opportunity to put almost everything that you want to put in there. You'll put your title, your category that it goes under, the location. We have it divided into downtown Tulsa, midtown Tulsa, South Tulsa, Broken Arrow, even extending areas is under other. But we have it all according to category, so you can actually search according to the region you want to do something in. Say the traffic's bad, you don't want to drive down here like it was this morning, and you live in Broken Arrow, you can find something there. You live in Jinx, you can find something there. So you'll put in your event start date, your event time, your event end date. You'll give us a description, including the price of your event. You'll upload your image into the gallery, give us your address so that it'll populate on Google Maps so that everybody will be able to find you. Give us your contact information in case we need any details. If you want to give us your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, you have those options so that people can find you on that as well. And we will populate the map, and then you will click submit. All that we will do then is we will have a staffer go in and hit approve, 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 just making sure that it covers everything that we need to do. That way, you don't have to contact me, hope that somebody on our team has time to get it in there. It will just be a very simple, quick thing, and eventually that process will be much more automated. There will be certain partners that we will work with that will actually have their own abilities to submit. So say nonprofits, after we figure out that you know what you're doing, that you are submitting appropriate events. We want to be somewhat family friendly. We do want to advertise bars. We do want to advertise different types of events that are, 21 and over, but at the same time, we don't want a kid getting on the site and having inappropriate content, which sometimes we do get that content sent to us. So that's why we have kept the ability to not approve events at this time, but as we develop partners that we know have quality content, know what they're doing, are reliable, then we will give them the ability to go ahead and upload straight to the event site. Okay, so sorry, let me find our next slide here. So Instagram Local Marketing is the other company that's associated with the company. I told you my son was on his third company. He owned a company called Doggy Doo. I don't know whether any of you guys heard of it. It was a poop scooping company. He started it when he was 15 years old. And he sold it when he went to college to the largest national franchise and put himself through college with the money he spent. The next company he purchased that he created, he didn't purchase it, was Sooner Media Group. And Instagram Local Marketing falls under Sooner Media Group. The reason that we created Instagram local marketing was that we were able to design a website, we were able to create analytics, we were able to do a lot of things on the back end that grew organic followers that were looking for the type of business, the type of product that our advertisers were selling. And so we started working with some other companies. We have a company, some national brands that I'm allowed to mention, some people that I'm not allowed to mention, but if you guys know the company Modern Luxury, we took their Instagram followers from about 500, and I think they're over 10,000 now, and we just started working with them in December. We took Cuddly Creatures, which is just sort of a fun, everybody likes kitties and pets and cute stuff. We took their brand, we got them when they were 50, and I believe they're at 8,000 today. We have only had them since the middle of January. So if you're interested in Instagram local marketing, there's some cards over there. You can go to the website and check it out. And you can also talk to C because she's one of our representatives for Instagram local marketing. Okay, so any questions? Anything you guys would like to know? Dick. Hold on, we have to give you a microphone.
Deborah, at the start of your presentation, you mentioned that you had been in Seattle, and you were comparing the environment in Seattle to being similar to what Tulsa is today. What are the characteristics that you saw that were different?
The vibe that Seattle had when it was just the grassroots organization, the cool stuff that was beginning to happen, the co-working spaces. And even though co-working as it exists today didn't exist, there were some types of co-working spaces back then. The revitalization of downtown areas that were previously not so desirable, those types of things, and just the community coming together as a community, I don't know how else to express it, are the things that I see in Tulsa today, and I think that Tulsa is the place to be. I've had the opportunity to move outside of Tulsa, and I said, well, I might like to come speak. I also speak on body language and a few things like that, and so I've been offered the opportunity to come talk other places around the country, but I always want to come back to Tulsa because I really do feel like I finally have a home. Yes.
So I started a site similar to this called WeKnowTulsa.com. The issue that we had was traffic, both from the people who are inputting information as well as, of course, everybody coming in. I'm curious how your site makes money.
We make money a couple of different ways. We make money through advertisers, and then we have some other stuff that I'm not allowed to reveal at this moment until my son tells me that I can. But we have 3 revenue streams that we have created, and one is advertising. So I'm sorry I can't reveal more than that because he told me not to talk about those yet. I apologize for being somewhat vague on that. Yes?
I saw that you had on the big list, there was like hearts and an eyeball for like views. Do you have to register as a user on your website?
Yes, great question. Thank you for asking that. You do have to register. You do have to go in and you have to give us, you just have to give us your name. You have to create a password and create a login. It's really simple.
That's for the average user?
No. For the average user, that is only for people who want to do events. For the average user, there is no sign-in. You can look at anything without signing in, without getting on.
Will the eyeballs like calculate for that?
Yes, it tells us how many. It doesn't give us any private information, but it tells us how many followers we have, how many people are looking at our site. We do have analytics on all that. One of the things I will tell you about monetization is we are getting ready to come out with a newsletter, and that newsletter will help us create another stream of income. Yeah.
I really like the idea. I've had similar experiences going into the weekend saying, what's something we can do?
Exactly.
One of the things that there used to be a blog called Tasha Does Tulsa that was so freaking remarkable.
Yes, absolutely.
And This Land Bought Her or something like that, and I haven't, Tell Tasha, if you know her, that we miss her too.
I would love to meet Tasha. No,
um,
I don't know her, but she is wonderful.
So I think I'm looking at your new site, and tell me, does
You're
it?
probably looking, unless it looks like what I just showed you, you're probably looking at the old site because I went in a back way. It's not live using This Week in Tulsa yet. The new one,
It's bluedomeevents.com.
yeah, that's our new one,
Yeah.
and we own that domain, of course.
Yeah.
And but thisweekintulsa.com is where you should go to find what's up for this week. And a few days you'll find.
So my question is you can search by when, today, this week, or this month?
Yes.
Is there a reason that there's not I can search for the week of June 27th? That
that's
sort of thing.
coming, but you can only create, as you're programming these sites and as you're doing all those things, you have to start with something. So that's what we started with. So this month was as far as we will go. Eventually it'll be a lot more complex. But you have to start somewhere, as all of you entrepreneurs know.
Okay, so as was kind of previously stated before, I have seen sites similar to this for Tulsa before, but a lot of them, I think the issue is just trying to get people to it. And I've also, I'm an event planner, and so I have for my clients like a Excel of just community calendars that we have to copy and paste and copy and paste.
Right.
So I think this is a great need. My question though is, what are other things that you're doing besides your own social media to get people to your page?
Instagram local marketing is one of the biggest ways we get people to the page, because once they realize we have the Instagram, what we do behind the scenes with that, once they realize we have the Instagram, then they look for us on other social medias. Honestly, this brand has taken off like crazy. We have been surprised. It's word of mouth because Tulsa has that vibe. I mean, the Philbrook, Quick Trip, all of those people have reached out to us. We have not reached out to any of those people. So how is it growing? It's growing organically. It's growing through word of mouth. It's growing through people saying, what is there to do in Tulsa, SEO optimization, all of those things.
I have two questions. One, you mentioned advertising, but when you did this brief demonstration, I didn't really see it on there. So how are you incorporating advertising into the site?
We will be adding advertising. So what we do right now, excuse me, I need to get another drink of water. Allergy pills this season give you dry mouth. But advertising, we've worked with advertisers before. We've done advertisements on our site. The news site actually has a place. I'm not sure it's live today, but there is a place you can go in and purchase advertising and upload your advertising yourself, and then we just have to approve it. As far as if it's an event that offers value to the reader, then we will put it on our website free of charge to whoever, like say you have an event taking place and it's a party of some kind. That goes on. If you're just doing a sale at your business, then we usually do a one-time advertisement for people just to let them get out there and get some exposure, and then after that, we have different advertising packages. I'm not prepared to talk about all those today, but it is very reasonable for the small business as well as the medium to large size business.
And my other question is, if you're inputting stuff like 1 million cups and it's a weekly thing, when you're inputting it, do you have an option of saying, hey, this is a recurring event, or do you have to go put it in every time?
We have a way to submit reoccurring events. We are still working on how you guys can submit reoccurring events. So that's one of the glitches we're having in the current website, to be quite honest. Okay. We hope to have that fixed in a few days. Yes.
Do you allow people to advertise alcohol?
We have no problem with advertising alcohol as long as it meets Oklahoma law guidelines.
And do they know that? Are they aware when they log into the site that they're responsible for knowing what that is?
Well, that's why we have the ultimate submit button, because we always make sure that everything that we approve for the website meets Oklahoma laws and Oklahoma standards.
Okay, just free advice. That's a huge liability that you're taking on by being the ones who approve whether or not the advertising meets that standard. And unless you've got really good legal protection for that,
I appreciate that
that's something that you
advice.
should really consider, because ABLE is very, very detail oriented. Let's put it that way.
Right, and that's
And on
why
the prowl.
we haven't advertised liquor, so to speak, just bars. And I don't know that would we consider it? Yes, but I don't know. We haven't crossed that bridge yet.
What differentiates you from sites like Eventbrite? Because Eventbrite's got lots of
Eventbrite,
detail, those kind of things. on there.
Eventbrite does, but it's not as interactive as our website. You can submit your own events, but if you're selling a lot of things, then it's going to cost you. It is a local brand. It is not a national brand, which Eventbrite is a national brand. And a lot of times when I get on Eventbrite, I find the information is incorrect. And we try to make sure that if we have, that we ensure that everything on our website is correct. Occasionally, we're human. We do make errors, but we do try to make sure that everything is correct according to the local area. Yes.
So it seems like, from my perspective, you're a couple years behind what's happening in Tulsa. So how do you compare, and how do you plan on gaining the market share on what's happening in Tulsa?
Well, I don't see What's Happening Tulsa as the same kind of company. I know the people who own What's Happening Tulsa. I don't see that we have a direct competitor. My opinion is we're not trying to take over someone else's market space. We are trying to offer something that we didn't feel was out there. And so we feel like, I've actually talked to What's Happening Tulsa about working with them. So, and that's as much.
How do you differentiate yourself? Because I view you as the exact same thing. Tell me why I'm wrong.
What's Happening Tulsa does not have the same kind of events. You can't go in and
They
do.
have events just like you showed me. So I'm asking why. Tell me what's the difference.
Well, when I go in and I look at What's Happening Tulsa, to me, and from what we're hearing from our audience, you get different information. We're not getting the same information. And maybe they've done something different with their website in the last 2 weeks. I met with them, I'm trying to remember how many weeks ago, but I just didn't see it as the same type of thing. But, there's room in this market for more than one company. We are not, just like there's room for more than one carpet brand, there's room for more than one bar. Tulsa's a big city. Anyone else? Yes. You need a microphone because we're recording. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So with Tulsa, do you have any plans to go into like Oklahoma City, other cities, and kind of duplicating your efforts?
We've considered it, and that's the most I can say about that at this point. Any other questions? Well, I really appreciate your time today, and there are cards if you're interested in helping us get our brand out there. I was going to pull up my contact slide, but I will pull that up in just a second. There are cards over there for Instagram local marketing. There are cards that say This Week in Tulsa if you just want to remember my name. Or there are blank cards that just say This Week in Tulsa and tell you what social medias are our most popular in case you want to share it with a friend and let people know about what's going on in our community. Thank you so much for your time and allowing me to be here today.
Thank you. So we want to thank everybody for coming out, and because they're still revamping their site, I will tell you a couple of things that are happening tonight.